You are now in tune with
Mamba Radio.
Alright, what up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into Brown Mamba Radio. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jackson, and happy Aloha Friday to everybody out there, and hopefully you guys enjoyed your week, and are looking forward to the weekend that we have up ahead. A lot going on this weekend, like a lot going on this weekend, but quickly before we get into what's going to happen this weekend, let's take a look at what happened this week. I guess starting with the Dodgers, not a whole lot happened this week, I guess, in sports, but with the Dodgers, they finished up their series with the Reds. For whatever reason, the Dodgers always struggle with the Reds, the damn Reds. But they got a win out of that one. Didn't win this whole series, but they're off to a good series, or a good start to the series, with the Cardinals. Which, again, I cannot express, or I cannot stress how important this series is. These next two series are. For the Dodgers, this series now with the Cardinals, and the next series that they have at the beginning of next week with the Rockies. Like I said, I cannot stress how important these series are. There's still a game and a half back from the Rockies, who are on top of the NL West. It looks like if things continue to go the way that they've been going, that they've built a big enough lead where the Diamondbacks might be out of it. Like I said, that's never a guarantee, because they still have another series with them later on in the month. But like I said, it looks like it's a two-man race between the Rockies and the Dodgers now. At least in NL West. But as of right now, currently as it sits on this Friday, the Dodgers are on the outside looking in. They're still, like I said, behind the Cardinals and the Brewers in the wild card. But again, that's why this series is so important, because that could change based on this series. If the Dodgers do well enough, they could actually catch or pass the Cardinals. They are only about a full game back, I think, of the Cardinals. And again, anytime teams are playing each other, the games don't count as half; it counts as a full game. Got to remember that. So that's why these games are so important for the Dodgers. Excuse me. So, it's just, I can't. They have to win. They have to. Again, they have to not just, if they can't sweep the entire series, which is a lot to ask, but they can definitely do it. If they can sweep the series against the Cardinals, then they'll be in a pretty damn good position. Just considering the fact that not only will they have passed the Cardinals, but they'll make the lead against the Rockies that much shorter as well, and potentially be on top of the whole thing going into their series against the Rockies. But we gotta focus on the now before we focus on the future. Rematch tonight between two of the brightest young pitchers in the game right now, Walker Buehler for the Dodgers, and what's his first name? I think Jason Flaherty, or Flaherty of the. Let me see, what's his name? Is it Jason? I don't want to mess it up because he's pretty damn good. Jack Flaherty of the Cardinals. And if you missed it, their last matchup was just unfreaking believable. If you love pitching, go find the highlights of that game, or if you got some free time, watch that game, because it was damn good. Both of the guys pitched their asses off. Like I said, big game tonight, big rematch between those guys, and hopefully they can pull out the win. Like I said, because they need it. They're gonna definitely need it. Nothing really going on with the Angels again. Nothing really there. No real baseball, and that's it for baseball. No real basketball news. Only thing with basketball, just whatever. Some people are trying to do some preview stuff. I think it's a little early for me because everybody got a lot of stuff going on, but I definitely will be having some NBA preview coverage coming up soon, especially since October is right around the corner. And but the only thing really from the world of basketball pertaining specifically to here in LA, long time Clippers play-by-play commentator the one and only Ralph Lawler will be retiring at the end of this season. Like I said, 40 years he's been with the Clippers, been here a very, very long time. He's, kudos to that man because he has watched and sat through a lot of bad, not just bad Clipper games, but just bad basketball games in his life. And, he has to call every game right down the middle. And, like I said, a true pro, a true legend, real slept-on legend in my opinion as far as LA sports figures go, like outside of, like, pertaining not directly like an athlete, but, like everyone, like Chicky Baby always gets all the love he deserves. Who else? Vin Scully got all the love he deserved, you know what I mean? Bob Miller got all the love he deserved, and like I said, they deserve every single bit of it. But, Ralph Lawler, man, you got to tip your hat to Ralph Lawler for staying with the team. I'm assuming 40 years he's got to be with that team from the beginning. I'm maybe going back to the San Diego days and all that stuff. He's got to be there from the beginning. I personally don't really know. But like I said, he's going to be retiring. Gonna miss him. Gonna miss hearing his bingo from every deep three. And, and his oh me, oh my, he's more famously known as the oh me, oh my guy from all the Lob City dunks that you guys might have seen from the past years. But like I said, gonna miss him a lot. Gonna be definitely tuning into a lot of Clipper games this year as well. And like I said, salute to Ralph Lawler and all that he does after basketball. But that's it from the NFL. Wrestling really quickly. I know I always say it really quickly, especially when I have to preview a match card. But, really quickly, I'm going to go through the Hell in a Cell preview just because it's like, as good as things were for WWE for a little while, they're starting to fall off again, especially on the Raw side of things. It's just so frustrating, and it seems like they don't know what they're doing, and they know what they want to do, they just don't know how to do it properly, and they're just kind of all over the freaking place, man, with all this stuff. And I personally haven't been tuning in as much. I've been kind of following from afar, watching the highlights on YouTube and Hulu, and not sitting down and watching all of Raw or SmackDown or anything like that. But it's just, and a lot of it too is there's just so much going on. It's hard to really, to their credit or to their defense, they got a lot going on. They got Hell in a Cell right now. They've got the women's pay-per-view, all women's pay-per-view Evolution coming up. They also have that great Showdown bullshit thingy in Australia coming up. So there's a lot on their plate. And, they got to figure out how to tie in all these storylines and stuff. But like I said, it's just super kind of just random, not random, but it just feels like all over the place. And it's just like I can't even begin where to focus and stuff like that. But quickly going through the match card, it's the thing is also quickly just because it just feels like everything's it's gonna go exactly as you expected, which is never good. Which is it's kind of good, but also never good at the same time. Starting with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, it's the New Day versus Rusev Day. Obviously, the New Day is going to win that. And then probably something's going to happen between Rusev and Aiden English. And then Rusev Day breaks up. But it just looks like it's just the New Day just got the belt. They don't want to hot potato it around. So I'm pretty sure New Day is going to retain. Same thing on the Raw side of things. Oh, actually, I forgot. I thought that Seth Rollins. Okay, never mind. I don't know if they're going to. Yeah, they're probably not going to hot potato it this time. They're probably going to have Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre win by, like, shenanigans, so that way they get screwed over. And then, so that way Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose get screwed over. And then maybe later on in the main event in the Hell in the Cell, when eventually we all know what's going to happen, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler are going to come out and try to, help Braun Strowman somehow. Like, whether they break the cage and it opens up and then they come in and start beating up whatever, that's when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose are going to get the last laugh, beat up Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre, and that's what's going to cause, that's what's going to help give Roman Reigns the whatever advantage, not advantage, but just going to help him get the win over Braun. We all know how it's going to play out. And that's exactly how it's going to go. So I'm thinking, and also the same time I said, they don't want to hot potato the belts right now, and they'd probably rather give it to them at like Survivor Series or a bigger pay-per-view like that and something like that. Then same thing, Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella versus The Miz and Maurice. Does honestly anybody care about this? No. We all know what they're doing with this feud. They're trying to use it to shoehorn the Bellas into back into the WWE prematurely, very very prematurely, because as we all saw, Brie Bella goofing big time with those botches. But trying to shoehorn them in for the WWE Evolution pay-per-view and all that stuff. And it's, like I said, we all know what's going to happen. And also on top of that, Maurice just was like, I don't know what, a few months ago, she's had the baby, and she looks great, by the way. Talk about a real snapback. Props to you, Maurice. Really snapping back after that baby. And so, like I said, this match is going to be yucky poo, I think, and don't really care who wins. It ultimately doesn't really matter. Then the only, I guess, the biggest question mark here is the Jeff Hardy Randy Orton match, which has been a really great feud. Like on paper it shouldn't be, but they've gotten the most out of this. That's for damn sure. And for whatever reason, it's in a Hell in a Cell. I don't know why. And well, I think we all know why. And like I said, it's Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton have had, like I said, they've gotten they've squeezed the most juice out of this feud, and it's kind of starting to run dry. And I guess this is going to be the end of it. And I think we all know why it's in a Hell in a Cell, because Jeff Hardy's probably going to swanton bomb off the top, and that's what's going to finally send him off into not full-on retirement, but just giving him a break, because that man, nobody deserves a break more than that man, especially considering all that he's done so far to his body in the WWE and all that he's done to his body in the past. It's just, yeah, like I said, that man needs a break. And like I said, I hate to nonchalantly talk about, oh yeah, Jeff Hardy's just going to swanton bomb off the top of a Hell in a Cell. But I mean, that's just what we've come to expect from Jeff Hardy, and at the same time, it's kind of like, like I said, we kind of just know that that's just what Jeff Hardy is. He's just fucking crazy like that, and he knows if he's gonna go out, take a break, he's gonna want to do it in style, in his way, and so like I said, this is it's probably what's gonna happen. He's gonna do it. He's gonna miss like Shane O'Mac style, and then Randy Orton's gonna probably hit him with roll him in the ring, RKO, 1, 2, 3, whatever. So we get the huge pop, the huge moment for YouTube, and all that stuff. And then finally, like I said, Jeff Hardy can just have a little break. Like I said, nobody deserves it more than he does. But then that's how probably that's going to go. Then for both women's matches, with the Raw side of things, it's like, I don't know. You guys know how I feel about, giving the Ronda the belt so fast. And I don't know why we all know why they did it. So that way she has the belt going into the pay-per-view, or going into the women's pay-per-view, and she can go on the press tour holding the belt. She's the new face of WWE women's wrestling, and yada yada yada, all that bullshit. But it's just really screwed things up, because there's no way Alexa Bliss can beat Ronda Rousey again, and they're trying to put a shoehorn in this angle where, oh, Ronda Rousey, oh, she's got bruised ribs. Like, yeah, right. We all know it's fucking fake. Even the kids have to know it's fake. You know what I mean? So that's why it's just not realistic here. And then Rousey has to win. We all know that. And then going forward, I don't know what's going to happen. The SmackDown side of things is a little bit more. This is probably the most interesting match, just because it's the Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. The heel turn. Whether you want to call it a failure or a success on the heel turn of Becky Lynch, depending on who you ask, it could go both ways, because people are saying it's a failure because obviously no one's going to believe that Becky Lynch is a heel, because everyone loves Becky Lynch. It's very obvious, and it's always been obvious, and they're just really trying to force the issue. But at the same time, it could be a success because a lot of people, it's getting more people invested in it, and even though she's playing up the heel character, people are still cheering her and stuff, and more people are interested in this, and they're trying to figure out what's going on, and it's getting more eyes on the feud and all that, which is always great, especially for anything WWE related, and especially with the women's side of things. And so, for whatever reason, this match isn't it feels like because Becky Lynch has been so crazy and so make it feel like it's a blood feud. You'd think that this match would be in a Hell in a Cell, but it's not. That's kind of the trending. I guess the trend of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is that the matches that you think should be in a cell aren't, and the matches that you wouldn't expect to be in a cell are. So, like I said, I thought this would be in a cell. It feels like this should be. Yeah, I mean, it could go both ways. I think, like I said, it's almost like the thing is where you want to strike while the iron's hot, and Becky Lynch is so hot right now that it'd be the perfect time to give her the belt and just to keep this momentum rolling. But at the same time, WWE always likes to have huge belt changes on bigger pay-per-views. Usually whether on the Big Four or something like Evolution, you know what I mean, like a special one like that or something. So I don't really know what's gonna happen. Now maybe they can do something where Charlotte wins by shenanigans, and then they kind of start moving away from the Becky Lynch heel character more into like a back to her face side of things, and it makes Charlotte, because we all know Charlotte's the better heel and we all know that Becky Lynch is the better face. So maybe they do something like that, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they give it to Becky Lynch, like I said, just because to keep the momentum rolling. Even though I think they'll save it for something like I said, something like Evolution or Survivor Series, or I don't know, whatever. But anyway, there's that. Then my opinion for, again, the one match that should be in a cell, which isn't, and it feels like, because they said this, if you thought the Charlotte and Becky feud was crazy, and just like a real blood feud, they've booked this AJ Styles Samoa Joe thing to be the same type of thing, where it's just a crazy blood feud, and it just feels like this match should be in a cell, but it's not for whatever reason, and I don't know why. And we know we're gonna get a good match out of this. We all know. Maybe they do it at the last minute. I don't, you know what I mean, but I don't know, but like I said, we'll have to see. But like I said, the booking and the build up to this match has been great. With Samoa Joe, all the Wendy stuff, and just just freaking hilarious. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, and because Samoa Joe is so good at it that you just believe it. Reading the bedtime story because he's gonna make AJ Styles go night night and all that shit is just too freaking funny, and it just shows you how good Samoa Joe is. And these guys are always going to have great matches. They're going to put on a great match. And like I said, I just don't think that, like I said, I don't think they're going to take the belt off AJ Styles anytime soon. Like I said, he's the face that runs the place, especially on the SmackDown side of things. And like I said, they're going to want him holding the belt, for the whole WWE 2K too. That's like, honestly, that's the accepted rumor as to why AJ Styles didn't lose it to Shinsuke Nakamura before, and all that. And so, we'll just have. I mean, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But wait and see. Like I said, it's just because that it sucks that like that kind of stuff hangs over. That's what's affecting the WWE Championship picture. That's what's affecting the Raw Women's Championship picture, because this outside force is affecting the booking of the matches, and you can't just be right down the middle. Like there's nothing really that's stopping Becky Lynch from winning the belt against Charlotte Flair. You know what I mean? Same thing. There's nothing that's stopping Braun Strowman from winning the belt against Roman Reigns. There's not like an outside force, like I was saying, like a video game coming out and AJ Styles is the cover athlete. There isn't a thing like they want Ronda to be the face promoting the women's pay-per-view Evolution. There's nothing like that. So it just sucks that this is that's affecting this the title picture. But I mean, it is what it is. And last match on the card, the main event, like I said, for the Universal Belt, Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. He is, I guess, officially cashing it in, so he won't have the briefcase anymore. And also again, for whatever reason, they just like the shoehorn, I guess, is the word of the day for me on this episode. But again, they're just out of nowhere shoehorned Mick Foley into the match as the special guest referee. Look for him to, obviously they did it for a reason. Look for him to do something. He's going to take some kind of bump. I don't know if he's going to get thrown off the top of the cell, but he's probably going to take a bump of some kind. And then, like I mentioned it earlier, we all know how this is going to go. They're going to do something. Like the whole point of the cell, according to Braun Strowman, was he's like, so that I can have you just one-on-one. and so that way you can't have any help, even though obviously Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman doesn't need to have, anyway. I got like Braun Strowman's been booked where he doesn't need a cell to defend off people. He's like, flipped ambulances and defended off the entire locker room. He's done all kinds of crazy stuff. But whatever, that's beside the point. Well, like I said before, we know how this is going to play out. They're going to have big spots, big man spots and crazy stuff, and eventually someone's going to go through the cell door or through the cell wall, whether Roman Reigns spears Braun Strowman or something like that. But there's somehow the cell is going to break, and that is what's going to cause. And then the whole point, like I said, was for Roman to not have the Shield guys come out and help Roman. But we all know that instead of that happening, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre are going to come out. They're going to start beating up Roman Reigns. Then Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose are going to come out of the crowd like they always do and start beating up Dolph and Drew. And then, then they're going to do probably like a triple power bomb on Braun Strowman, like on the cage or something. I don't know, something crazy. And then that's how they're going to get the win and blah, blah, blah. We all know how this is going to go. That's, like I said, that's what sucks. Like, it's cool. Like, I'm sure they'll do something cool or whatever. It's going to look cool, but it just sucks that it's so predictable. And that's how everyone knows how this is going to turn out. But anyway, like I said, also just from the fact that they probably don't want to give Braun Strowman the belt right now. They probably want to save it to something like WrestleMania or something. I don't know. But I mean, that's just the way it is right now. That's just the state of WWE. So yeah, that's it for that. And last and certainly not least, I'm gonna make my picks now for the NFL Week 2. Starting with last night's game on Thursday night. Now, I know, like I said, you're going to have to trust me on this. But, of course, it does seem a little fishy, when I make my picks after the fact. I know that. But, here. Last week, I went 11-4-1 with the one, of course, being the tie that if you thought that, if you're making a picks pool or whatever, and you thought that the Browns and Steelers were going to tie in week 1, then you are a GD goddamn liar. So everyone's shit is all fucked up. I'm 11-4-1, and like I said, starting with the last night's game, I picked the Bengals going into the game, and if you listened to my episode on Monday when I recapped everything, you'll know how much of a fluke that I thought the Ravens win was against, or the way that the Ravens won against the Bills was. Because, again, the Bills are going to fucking suck this year. They are very, very, very much so the favorites to be the worst team in the league. And, like I said, I was talking about it with some dudes at work the other day. We're getting into it, and he's like, no, Roy, man, Joe Flacco, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, dude, they're just fucking, they played the Bills. Like, come on, man, they played the Bills. And like I said, the score doesn't fully reflect it, but this game wasn't even close. Bengals won 34-23, so like I said, I had the Bengals. And like I said, it's just because the Bengals actually look pretty good on paper, and it looks like they might be able to put it all together. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to go full on, like one of the best teams in the AFC, but it looks, just like I said, they should be better than they have been, and I feel like, it just takes time and experience to get to that level, and like I said, they've gotten there. So like I said, I had the Bengals. And now for the rest of the games. So let's go in order. This is in order of how the games are playing out on, if you look on the NFL site, whatever. So, Chiefs Steelers. I'm going with the Chiefs. Like I said, we all saw how great they looked on offense last week. And of course, we all know that the strength of the Steelers is their defense. But after what we saw from them last week, who knows what's going to go on with those guys over there. They couldn't even get past the Browns. What makes you think they're going to get past the Chiefs? And I know, again, the weak point of the Chiefs is their defense, but like I said, we saw there's still no Le'Veon Bell, it looks like, for the Steelers. And like I said, just the way that we saw their offense function last week, not sure if, like I said, they're going to be able to score enough points or not, to get past the Chiefs, because we know the Chiefs are going to be putting up numbers this year. So So let's, like I said, give me the Chiefs against the Steelers, Dolphins, Jets. Give me the Jets at home against the Dolphins. Like I said, and again, I know people are gonna. Another overreaction again was how good the Jets looked, but again, it's more of the. Are we sure the Jets looked really good, or was it because the Lions just were so bad that's why they looked so well, or looked like they played so well? But then again, the Dolphins, they played that wonky game where like the rain delay and all that. But like I said, Jets. Like I said, they look a lot better than people think. I don't think they look that good, but they definitely are. I think they're good enough to beat the Dolphins, who potentially could be one of the worst teams in the league as well. Like I said, Jets over the Dolphins on this one. Then Eagles Bucks. This is one of the tougher ones. Looking at the schedule, just because it's again, you don't want to overreact from how the Buccaneers played. It was just kind of one of those things that was just it was a crazy game with them and the Saints. You really you just didn't. It's almost like as many times as you watch the highlights or the replays of that game, you're just like, how did that happen? And it's like so many questions where it's like, are the Buccaneers that good? Is the Saints defense not that good? Like, what's going on here? And it could have just been a one-time thing. Who knows? With the Fitz magic. But then like I said, you put a gun to my head. I'm going with the Eagles. Like I said, their defense is much better in my opinion than the Saints was. They're gonna figure it out. They played well against they had an extra couple days to recover and prepare for the Buccaneers. Like I said, they're a little bit better than the Saints in my opinion. They played well against the Falcons on Thursday night for the better part of the game. And like I said, if the team can figure it out, I think it's them. They're gonna be able to shut down Deshaun. They're gonna have guys that can run with Deshaun Jackson. They have guys that are big enough to stop and contain Mike Evans. So like I said, give me the Eagles on that end. Still no timetable for the return on Carson Wentz. I think it's going to be a couple more weeks at least. They said until they make a full-on decision. But like I said, give me the Eagles over this one in that case. Browns and Saints, give me the Saints until the Browns can, I think that their bid for an undefeated season ends here. Like I said, I think the Saints offense is just too good. That's straight up it, man. The offense is too good. Like I said, unless the Browns can pull something crazy out of their ass, and they have the kind of game like they had against the Steelers, they might get a chance to win. I don't know, but like I said, it's very, very slim chances. So like, give me the Saints against the Browns. Colts, Redskins, and probably one of the biggest stinkers of the week. It's gonna come down to which quarterback plays better. That's honestly it. You got Alex Smith, who's been an upgrade. A lot of people are saying from last season for the Skins, but again, they just don't have any run. But I think both teams don't really have an official established running game. So who knows? They all know they're gonna pass, and so that's why the defense is gonna be prepared for that. So I have to wait and see. But anytime it's tough like this, I usually always go with the home team just because it's the home, like I said, home team advantage. But it's hard also to go against the guy who has. You also want to go with the guy who's got the better talent at quarterback when it comes down to a quarterback battle, which is obviously Andrew Luck. But again, Andrew Luck is coming off of pretty much missing an entire year with a shoulder injury, his throwing shoulder. But then again, that being a red flag. He came out throwing I think 54 or 55 pass attempts, which is like I said, picking up where he left off right before he left, or right before the injury. So it's really tough. Who knows? If you had, you know what I mean? I'm a little biased because I really do like Andrew Luck as a quarterback. So this one's tough, man. This one's really, really tough. It's a crapshoot here, but I really want to go with the Colts for whatever reason. So give me the Colts on that one, and I just want to move on from that so I don't second guess myself. Chargers, Bills, Chargers on the road. If there's going to be a game that should help boost the Chargers' confidence, it's this one, especially considering how poorly they came out against the Chiefs after all the hype that they wanted. All the hype that they got over in the offseason. Like I said, give me the Chargers over the Bills in this one. it's the Bills again. There's going to be big stinkers, and like I said, this is a big opportunity for the Chargers to help, like I said, boost their morale. Then another one of the top games of the week, Vikings Packers. Now, the biggest question going into this game, obviously, is the health status of Aaron Rodgers. Now, my sources haven't been able to give me any updates as far as what he's doing. Apparently, it just looks like Aaron Rodgers is saying, I'm going. He's like, I'm playing. There's nothing that's going to stop me from playing. There's rumors out there that he's got a knee sprain. That's all they're calling it. No one really knows what's going on here. But with that being said, I still like the Vikings. I just think their defense is too good. And even though Aaron Rodgers, is Aaron frickin' Rodgers, I just think that they'll be able to. The Vikings are a good enough defense to expose the weakness that is, or the weaknesses in the Packers offense, as far as like the level of talent that they, some would say don't have. I think the Vikings are too good of a defense, and their offense looked pretty good, and I think their offense is going to be good enough to put up points against the Packers defense, which has been a little bit, shaky in the past. So, or shakier than past seasons, excuse me. So, like I said, give me the Vikings over the Pack attack in that one. Another, I guess it's a lot of divisional matchups early this week. Panthers Falcons. The Falcons came out and laid an egg, no pun intended, last Thursday night in the season opener, and just looked really not like I guess because they came out and looked the same as they've always looked, I guess, for like the past couple seasons, that just looked bad. Like they just didn't get any better. Like it didn't improve anything. And so that was not a good sign. But the Panthers, they didn't set the world on fire or anything, but they did look pretty good. I was impressed with Cam Newton, and not just because he's my fantasy quarterback and gave me some good points, but again, if you've been tuning in and following along, you know that I'm pretty high on Cam Newton this year. And so, like I said, give me the Panthers over the Falcons on the road. And like I said, it'll be a big win for the Panthers. Like I said, and they'll, like I said, and I don't know if the Panthers defense can figure out a way to contain Julio Jones, but if they can't, Steve Sarkisian will for them. So yeah, like I said, it's just until things change, it's just not happy times in Atlanta. But yeah, moving on again to the AFC South this time from the NFC South. Texans Titans, a sneaky good, potentially good matchup for this week. Texans Titans, Titans, and the Texans both have a lot of like smart football fans are kind of hyping them up, like, hey, keep an eye out on, not fully like hyping up like they're the best, but just saying like, hey, keep an eye out on these guys. They're looking pretty good, specifically the Titans. And I think, like I said, it's if Deshaun Watson and the Texans played better last week, then I'd be all in on the Texans in this case. But they didn't, which is understandable. It's hard for them to come out right away and be good, especially considering he's coming back from an injury, and a significant injury at that. But like I said, it's going to be a sneaky good matchup. And in this case, like I said, I always like the home team, especially since the Titans, they look like they're going to have a pretty good defense this year. Like I said, not one of the best, but pretty good. And considering that they have, Mike Vrabel as their head coach, defensive guy. Like I said, a lot of emphasis on the defense this year. And, yeah, like I said, I think that they'll be able to figure out a way to like I said, and again, Mike Vrabel being a Patriots guy, they'll look at what the Patriots did to contain Deshaun Watson and figure a way to get a win. So give me the Titans at home against the Texans. Then an NFC West matchup, Rams-Cardinals, pretty easy call here. Rams, do I have to say more? We saw what the Rams did against the Raiders, my Raiders, in Week 1. But like I said, and then how poorly the Cardinals played again in Week 1. And like I said, pretty easy call here. Rams over the Cardinals. 49ers Lions, normally this would be a tougher matchup for me to decide on, but considering how things looked for the Lions in Week 1, they look like they're going to be historically bad again this year. That was really, really bad. And yeah, and the Niners, who, although they didn't win and Jimmy G didn't look like, the guy who's now the highest paid quarterback in the league, or was the highest paid quarterback in the league before Aaron Rodgers got his deal anyway. Even though they got the L, and even though, like I said, all things considered, Niners still look pretty darn good. Like I said, they lost to a pretty good Vikings team, and like I said, they're going up against a struggling, to say the least, Lions team. Give me the Niners at home against the Lions. Then into the AFC West, Broncos Raiders. This is a tough one to pick because both teams did not look great in Week 1. Other than the first 5 minutes for the Raiders, the Raiders did not look that great for the rest of the game. I know that they added Martavis Bryant. He's back in a very, very weird, strange sequence of events. So that's definitely going to help. And again, even though the Broncos got the win over the weekend, it was against, a definitely wounded beast in the Seahawks. It's just going to be tough. It's going to be a tough match, tough call. If the Raiders if John Gruden wants to show that the Raiders are for real this year and not just a laughing stock and people are doubting them and all that stuff, he has to win this game. Huge game. Coming off of a loss where he just got straight up outcoached in the second half of that game, and we all kind of knew that's how it was going to go, but he got outcoached in the second half of that game, and came out with a pretty blah offense that, like I said, that Wade Phillips, figured out pretty quickly. They got to go win this game on the road, big time. They got to win this game on the road, in the divisional rival in the Broncos. And, like I said, the fan in me wants to say that they can win, but I just don't see anything that shows that they will, especially considering that their Broncos defense is what won them that game against the Seahawks. And so, like I said, Case Keenum and the offense, like I said, although isn't that great, like I said, neither is that Raiders defense. So, like I said, this really, really pains me, but I am making a picks pool that is, based on, who I think will win, being as objective as possible. And I hate to do this, but like I said, give me the Broncos at home. And like I said, and I hope the Raiders prove me wrong. I really, really, really do. I really, really, really do. But like I said, Broncos at home for that one. Last home stretch of the games, Jaguars and Pats, and then an AFC Championship game rematch, excuse me. Tough here, tougher than I thought, like I said, the obvious answer is to say the Patriots, but, like I said, that Jaguars defense looks pretty damn good. Like, I cannot lie. That defense looks pretty good. And the only question is if you think that the offense is going to be able to put up enough points to win the game. That's really it. It sounds simple, and but obviously it's not that simple. Because the Patriots offense, although they aren't as, that's the thing, it's like almost a perfect storm for the Jaguars. The Patriots offense, doesn't have as many weapons, even though they went out and Tom Brady showed that he can get the most out of it, just like he can get the most out of anybody. But like I said, they don't have as many weapons on offense. Like I said, and that defense looks pretty damn good with Miles Jack, leading the charge. But I just don't think that the Jags offense is good enough. You know what I mean? They're going to have to rely on Blake Bortles again. And if, they're probably going to try to do it this time when they didn't do it in the championship game when they should have. But a lot of it, has to do again with they just don't have as good of an offense. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. They just don't. Their offense just isn't as good as it was last year. Again, they like I said last time they lost. There were some of the key receivers. And again, it looks like Leonard Fournette is out this week. I don't know how long he's going to be gone for, but it looks like he's not going to be playing this week. And like I said, all that, like I said, all the Patriots haters are going to want to take the Jaguars, but like I said, if you really think about it, look at the whole situation, probably going to be the Patriots, and that sucks. That really sucks. But then, okay, last two games. Giants Cowboys NFC East matchup. You know, the Cowboys, you know, again, just didn't look, you know, as good as they just didn't look as good as they should. You know, as everyone thought they should. They just looked flat as always. You know, the clapper was doing his typical clapping thing on the sideline again, and just like I said, it just really, really bummed a lot of Cowboys fans out that they came out and played as poorly as they did. But they're gonna be back home. That's definitely a plus for them. You know, and you know the crowd's gonna be fired up, especially with the divisional rival coming in town. But like I said, the Giants, man, they just looked so like you could see it. You know, like even though they didn't get the win and all that, but like I said, you could see it. And with the Giants, like, oh man, they got a chance to be pretty good, at least on offense. You know what I mean? Saquon Barkley looks like he's going to be pretty good for hopefully for a long time. And like I said, it'll be a good running back matchup between Saquon Barkley and Ezekiel Elliott. And ultimately, I think that's what's going to come down to is like whose running game gets established better, because of course that will affect the offensive side of the passing game. You know, especially with the Giants, because you know with OBJ, who's always a handful for anybody, and it will definitely be a handful for this struggling Cowboys defense. Like I said, I'm going with the Giants in this one. Like I said, and you know it's, you know, the fan pick would probably be the Cowboys, and I get that, but like I said, I just think that the Giants, man, I think there's something there, and if Eli can keep it together for 48 minutes, then yeah, give me the Giants on the road. Like I said, big win for the Giants. Give me the Giants on the road for the Cowboys. And last game, Seahawks-Bears, kind of a random matchup, but definitely should be a fun one. Gonna be fun to watch Khalil Mack chase around Russell Wilson all day long or all night long on Monday night. Like I said, it's going to be interesting because you know that Khalil Mack is going to be able to get to Russell Wilson, but will he be able to take him down? That's the question. Russell Wilson obviously known for his scrambling ability and his playmaking ability, but like I said, we'll have to see. Like I said, and you know, I just think that this game, man, it's going to be tough to pick. Like I said, again, you saw some flashes of, you know, hey, maybe we got something here with the Bears, with Trubisky and Howard, you know, and you know, it's in the years past, there would be no way that the Bears offense had a chance against Seattle's defense. But like I said, they're a wounded animal. They are not the same Legion of Boom that they've been in the past. They still got Earl Thomas, who's been playing great, who played great, week 1. But you know, yeah, they don't have as much. They don't have all the. They don't have all those the pieces that they've had in the past. And like I said, I might sound crazy, but like I said, I'm taking the Bears at home against the Seahawks. Like I said, I just think that their defense will be good enough to contain. Like I said, they don't have to sack Russell Wilson all the time and whatever and do all that stuff, but they'll be able to contain him, whether it's like I said, directly up front, or even if it's a coverage sack. Like I said, I think that they'll be able to do their thing. And yeah, like I said, give me the Bears over the Seahawks in the last game on Monday night. So yeah, that's it. Made all my picks. Hopefully they go well. The only thing, like I said, I'm just hoping that the Raiders prove me wrong. That's the only thing, is I'm hoping they prove me wrong. But yes, that is going to do it for me today. Hopefully you guys pick, or hopefully you guys do well on your picks as well. Like I said, it's going to be you know, like I said, we're getting there, getting into the swing of things with football. You know, like I said, so yeah, that's it for me today. Like always, thank you guys out there so much for listening. Hopefully you guys you know, like what you heard, and if you did, make sure you guys subscribe everywhere you get podcasts and all that stuff. Follow along on all the socials, Brown Mamba Radio, Brown Mamba, or JXCKSXNNN. That's 3 N's. And like always, everything's available on the blog. Shout out to all the blog boys and all the blog girls on brownmama.us. Follow along there as well. And I know I said I updated it, but something went wrong, so I got to fix it. My bad. I'll take care of that. And yeah, that's about it. hopefully, all of you guys and girls out there, I don't think I'm forgetting you guys. I don't think I'm forgetting. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy Hell in a Cell. Enjoy NFL Sunday. Hopefully your team wins. And like always, don't just have a good weekend. Make it a good weekend. Please be safe. Be responsible, but have fun. Drink more water, because health is wealth. Be kind to each other, because it's easy to be nice. And like always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. See you guys on Monday. Peace.